We have two other people to pay tribute to this afternoon. It's my great honour shortly to pay tribute to John Furlong, but before we do that, Ursula Shannon's photograph is over here too, and I knew Ursula on and off for many, many years. Tenacious was a great word for her. She had a wicked sense of humour, an absolutely wicked sense of humour, and she was as tough as nails, but she had a real soft side to her too. And I've asked this afternoon, we've invited the man who knew her best in the world, I suspect, I suggest, to come and say a few words, her husband, Councillor Terry Shannon.
Can I thank Carmel and Christy for this lovely tribute today and for your friendship with Ursula over so many years. Ursula was described as a small person with a big footprint, and that certainly was what she had. So I want to thank you for that. And Lord Mayor, Taoiseach, deputies, councillors, colleagues, senators, on behalf of my family, I want to thank you for being here. This was a ceremony that Ursula was at on many occasions, and it was something that was dear to her heart. The Adoption Rights Alliance and support for adoptees was very dear to Ursula, and indeed, right up to the end, Christmas week, she was still working on it for people and was still involved and talking with people. And indeed, she wanted for others what she had for herself. She had a lovely life here in Cork. She had lovely parents, Jim and Sheila O'Keefe. She was an only child, as we thought, but she was a force of nature. And she had a fantastic life here, but when her parents died, she decided that she'd like to look for her birth mother and father and any other siblings she may have. And it was a very long process, difficult process, one that had highs and lows and ups and downs and tearful and joyful occasions. It was quite extraordinary, to the extent that I always remember on a Friday evening we were sitting down watching television, and her phone rang, and this chap from London said, "I think I'm your brother." And all of a sudden, all hell broke loose. And we were on a plane, I'd say 2 days later, and we met Sarah and Dave under the clock in Paddington Station. And I saw Sarah coming towards us, and I said to Ursula, "Ursula, there's your sister." You couldn't but deny it, there's your sister. And we went and we met her mother, Mary, who at that stage, unfortunately, was in a nursing home. She was suffering from Alzheimer's. But she looked at Ursula and she said, "Baby." It was quite extraordinary. And that friendship, that family connection, that love has endured right up to today. And unfortunately, Mary passed away a number of years ago, but the connection with Sarah particularly, I think fellas aren't as good at these kind of things. Dave isn't as forthcoming as such, but Sarah and her family have been back and forth, and there's a great connection there, and that's what Ursula wanted for other people. And she found it very difficult that other people couldn't have what she had. And so that got her on this amazing journey where Ursula never could take no for an answer. She didn't understand the concept of no or I can't. And if the front door was bolted, she'd go round the back to the back door, and if that was bolted, she'd climb in a window. And she was determined to achieve what needed to be achieved. And as we all mentioned, we're long-term friends for many, many years. And when Ursula would meet Micheál, "Now Micheál, I want you now to listen to this. This is what you need to do now," and blah, blah. And even when you came up when Ursula was sick, she still took the occasion. "Now Micheál, while I have you, there's things to be done." And information was the main thing for her. information is power. It's what she felt other people should have, and the barricades that were up against people both here and elsewhere were something that needed to come down. People had a right to know who they were, where they were from, and have their family. And that was something that she was determined to have. And the information bill that Michal spoke of was very much dear to her heart, and she worked on that and persuaded Michal. But she described herself as being trafficked from England. She was born in the Royal Hospital in Chelsea, and she used to tell us, you know, I'm royal, but we used to call her the Sassenach. You're a Sassenach, which she never liked because she came from a good Republican family in Jim and Sheila. But she was asked by Harriet Harman to come over and address a parliamentary commission on adoption and how they'd seen what was happening here, and how could they do the same, particularly for Irish people living here or living in the UK. And she just told them finally to find your moral compass and get on with it. And when she came home, I asked her, how did you get on? I gave them down the banks. I gave them down the banks, she said. And and that was something that she was very determined on. She never spoke about it. She was like, and I've told people about it, I don't know how she got the information or how she got people together. It's kind of like these crime or movies where someone is told, do a background check on that person there. And all of a sudden she could tell you who you were, where you're from, what the bank account number was, how much money you had in your bank, who was your mother, your father, your granny and your granddad. And she had all that. It was quite extraordinary. And she put people together. She got information for people, she put people together, and that was her great legacy. And that was what she was working on right up to the end when she passed away on Christmas Day. She was committed to that, and it was something that was dear to her heart. And we'd be sitting down and she'd be on the laptop. What are you doing? None of your business. She was very much private to what she was doing and bringing people together and ensuring that it was done in a very sensitive and a very compassionate way. And I think that's the legacy she has. And she was here on many occasions, and I think that's what she'd be remembered for in many respects in terms of her continuing advocacy for people who were adopted and who wanted to find their parents, their families, because she had found it and it had been a success, and that's not always the case. References made to Bessborough here. I was born in Bessborough. My eldest brother was born here, and my two sisters were born here. 4 of us came from this establishment, and we just moved to half a mile down the road on the Well Road, where my mother still lives. And we have generally happy memories of coming up here, I have to say. But there's no doubt, and I have for many years lobbied, that this area is sacred. Notwithstanding the planning applications and issues that are on board Penala, this sacred place must be kept as a tribute and as a commemoration for those who passed through and for those who are lying all around us. And it's not going to be easy, but it's something that I've been actively involved in for many years, quietly, with different city managers and with different directors of planning. I'm a member of the City Council for the last 27 years, and I continue to do that. Now, it's not easy, and people say, let's compulsory purchase. It's not that easy, but if it was easy, it would have been done long ago. My view, and I think it is the views of my colleagues, and I see Councillor O'Connor and Councillor Maher here, Councillor Mary Rose Desmond is here, and I'm sure there are others. It's our commitment through the City Council that this area will be preserved as an area of special commemoration and a special place of commemoration and celebration and whatever, so that we can celebrate people who are here, celebrate the people who are so active in like Carmel and Christy and those who are promoting and commemorating everything that happened here, but as a place of contemplation, where people can come and just sit quietly, be part of nature, and just remember the people who were here. That's something that I'll be working on, have been, and will continue to work on. So, on behalf of my family, I'm joined here by my youngest daughter, Emily, and my other daughter, Kate. I go down through them and I never get the right one. My son, Connor, is here with his partner, Rebecca. Rob can't be here, unfortunately, he's working. And Blanage is around there as well. My granddaughter is there as well. And we're joined by a number of very good friends of mine and Kate and Ursula's. Kate Durant is here, and Brian Murphy and Francis Murphy, and others who knew Ursula. So it's a lovely occasion. We're delighted to be part of it. We thank you for remembering Ursula. We were together for 35 years. I learned very early on to do what I was told. It was just easier. Ursula used to say, you know, a happy wife is a happy life. So, and I think the other one was, what's yours is mine, and what's mine is my own. So she was a force of nature, and I'm delighted that you're commemorating and celebrating her life today. We thank you for it, and certainly if there's anything I can continue to do, I certainly will. Gurmila Mahagat. Thank you.
Thanks, Terry.